Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. There are frequently questions asked about resources for further study here with A Course in Miracles. So I thought I would take a day and address this question. Yeah, because there's a lot out there, in fact. And it's a question that frequently comes up as far as what do I personally recommend? What have I found to be extremely helpful? So yeah, let's answer this very practical question here. Now, A Course in Miracles is an interesting thing in spirituality because it's a self-study curriculum, which is part of its genius. And that's the case because it's not another religion, it's not another cult. And this pixelated image on your screen that gets on here and turns on the camera, which is over here, and the microphone, which sits right off by the subscription button right there. That, yeah, this image is not in charge of you. Thank God. Right. Yes. It's not a religion, it's not a cult, rather, it's a self-study curriculum, universal in both theme and application, meaning anyone can participate in it regardless of background or regardless of what tradition or traditions you're currently following. Anyone, completely 100% all inclusive. Yeah. Universal in application. As a self-study curriculum, this course focuses on practical application. Anyone can study it. Anyone can practice it. It's for everyone. Now, is everybody going to study it in this lifetime? No, of course not. Right. But here you are interested in it. So hopefully you'll find something here in this discussion that you find of great value to you. Because this is self-study, it can seem sometimes to be rather tedious. I'm laughing because every course student has thought this at one point or another, inevitably. Yeah, it can seem like a slog, actually, sometimes, a day-to-day grind, a moment to moment. Oh man. And it's because as social animals, right, which is what we are, we actually need the company of other people. And it's helpful here studying the course to know that you're not alone doing it. Of course, you're never alone. Our inner teacher is always with us, and there is no separation of any kind. So, literally, it's impossible to be alone. It's impossible. However, sure doesn't feel like that from time to time. And there are days where people seek out companionship here from other people. And the course and people that have studied it have inevitably found themselves, if not for a long period of time, maybe for a little bit, drawn to a study group. There are people that gather both online and, of course, in person to meet and discuss A Course in Miracles and share and talk about the Course. There are many, many of those, and a Google search would reveal something in your area or at least nearby, right? Whether online or in person. And personally, I've done both. There can be some distinct advantages for some people in participating in a group. Number one, you get to share ideas and possibly difficulties with somebody else. So it is that social aspect that gets fed and met in that way, which is very helpful to many. And it's the same thing, actually, that a lot of people say about the organized religion that they grew up with. They enjoyed going to church or they enjoyed going to Sunday school or whatever it was for you because of the social component, because of the social interaction. And as a self-study curriculum, yeah, we do this apparently by ourselves. Of course, we're not alone, but we do it in our own mind. So it has been a very useful tool indeed for many course students to participate in one or more of these groups. Is it required? Absolutely not. Not at all, because of course the practical drawback of that is that everyone is understanding the material at a completely different level sometimes. There can be a lot of confusion involved in a process like this. I mean, it is what it is because everybody comes in understanding what they happen to understand about it, having had the experiences that they've happened to have on that particular day. And they can be widely disparate, which doesn't have to be a drawback at all, but for many it is. And some people prefer to study it by themselves. Of course, you're never alone, but you know what I mean. And so it goes. What's important is what are you being called to do? What are you being instructed to do by our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit? That's what you should do. If he says, yes, go to this study group, you'll like it. Or why not try it out? Then sure, right? And if he says, yeah, time to stop that, okay, no problem, right? So it's however you're instructed and guided. And there are tremendous materials available online and also in print. Of course, there is the printed course book itself, which you may or may not have. And there are several really wonderful commentaries that have been written about A Course in Miracles that, in some cases, really truly do help present its thought system in a different light, in a different way, so that people can understand it. Now, I've read many of them by many authors, and personally, in my own experience, I've found the books by Gary Renard to be, in my own journey, the most helpful at grasping and understanding the materials here in A Course in Miracles without losing any of the uncompromising pure non-dual meaning. God is the only reality, in other words. However, starting with his first book, The Disappearance of the Universe, which if you haven't read, I highly recommend. Not only does it help explain the principles of A Course in Miracles, but it's funny. Highly. And so have his other three books been. That these have had probably of all the materials that I've read on the course, the most lasting impact. There are several very, very articulate and helpful, very helpful commentaries available online as well. So there are plenty of online resources. There are print resources. There are study groups, both virtual and in person, and there are video series like the one you're watching right now. YouTube channels, there are resources out there for people that are sharing the Holy Spirit in this way. So this is just one of them. But there are many different ways to do it out there. And a couple of things that I really want to wrap up with here is number one, do as you're guided to do. In other words, as you're called, ordered, instructed to do. However that comes across to you, whichever verb you want to use. This is my own personal directive to share the Holy Spirit via this communication mechanism to a worldwide audience. Camera, microphone, share. Yes, that is my own personal directive. Yours can look completely different. Yeah. So what I'm driving at here is listen to the guidance of your inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. And that's what we do, what he instructs us to do. And you will know, especially if you're willing to listen. So that's the first very important point. Important point number two, we learn this course by doing it. All of these resources, this resource, books, everything, study groups, all kinds of stuff. These things are important, yeah, but they don't even come close to the importance of doing the course. You learn the course by doing it. That's how we do it. We put the ideas into practice. So you could study treatise after treatise. You could. People do it in other forms of academia and life, after all. You could acquire a vast store of intellectual knowledge, or hours watching YouTube, or things that you've read, retreats that you've sat, study groups that you've gone to. You could log a vast number of hours indeed, but if you don't put these teachings into practice day to day, moment to moment, the real learning opportunities are missed. And it will take a long, long time. We learn by putting the ideas into practice. So, however you end up studying, however you're guided to approach this material, put it into practice. That is so, so important because all of spirituality, not just A Course in Miracles, all of it is about practical application. It's all about experience, isn't it? Spirituality is 100% about our experience. That is the most powerful way to learn because we take these ideas, whether you feel like you fully have an intellectual grasp on them or not, makes no difference at all. And you put them into practice in your daily life. What happens then is extraordinary. Your experience shows you that the ideas are true. It demonstrates to you. It proves to you that the ideas that you're studying are true. We learn by doing it. What a powerful way for us to learn the lesson and for it to stick. You know, if someone just says, okay, this is the way it is, what's going to happen? Our inner little rebel child's going to say, well, no, it's not. I'm going to go off and do something else. It's like our parents telling us to do something in particular and insisting that we do it, where we're going to do the exact opposite. We behave the same way, like it or not, as adults. So we're invited to learn by putting these ideas into practice. Now, along the way, questions are inevitable, and you can always ask questions. In fact, plenty people ask questions here on this comment thread on YouTube, which I welcome. I really do. And if you're concerned about asking a question, I get it. There are people that have been practicing this material for a long time. There are long time course students on here. And there are also people that are just starting out and those that aren't course students yet at all. Perhaps you're just checking it out. Yeah. You're more than welcome to be here because it's for everybody. And even if you're not a course student, there's a message for you from your inner teacher. You can count on that. Anything that lands, anything that connects here, you can count on the fact that it's him. It's not this pixelated image on your screen. It's an assemblage of electronic dots that looks like a middle-aged man from Arizona. And you can't possibly get more ordinary than that. This image means absolutely nothing. For sure, when something connects, it's the Holy Spirit. So however you're called to study and practice this material, people frequently hold up on asking questions because they think it may be too basic or too beginner-ish. I want to invite you to ask those questions, especially here on this forum. Those are often the best. They are. Why? Because we all need to be reminded as stubborn adult learners of these principles again and again and again. And by asking a question that you may consider to be really basic, entry level, you could impact someone's life. You really could. You could influence the trajectory of someone's walk or journey in a profound way without even ever knowing it and without ever meeting that person, right? You don't have to. By asking this question, you never know who's going to get it. You never know when a light is going to come on for somebody. We don't know when somebody is going to really get something where it's really going to stick. It's really going to emerge crystal clear. It's powerful. We don't know when that's going to occur. So any question that you may have is highly valuable. So I absolutely invite them. Now, if you have not yet subscribed, please do that as well. I'd love to have you join us. Again, this is the prompt in the corner of your screen. You click that, and well, yeah, several videos pop up here every week. And if you have already subscribed, thank you so much for that. I appreciate having you here. There have been a number of you that have recently joined us. And as always, if you want to be notified every time a new video drops here, you can click that bell icon, manage your subscriptions, and be notified if you so choose. All right, so I thank you as always for tuning in, and please ask questions if you've got them. I'm here to serve as a guide, and however I can assist you, I'm happy to do that. Okay, thanks so much.